Well, thank you for staying with the Monday Report Town Hall session. You're getting into the tail end of this discussion. A lot of your feedback is coming through. We are scrolling some of them underneath the screen just so you get the information that you're putting across. Honorable Wanga, you're finishing your thoughts on the questions that were asked by the audience.
Yeah. So let me just come to the question of chaos, so-called chaos at BBI rallies. And I want to say that I've attended all BBI rallies without exception, everywhere across this country. And there's never really been chaos. I think the people who've been trying to create, sort of like chaos has been some, members of the Tangatanga who, like, for example, the other week in Meru, came into the function and then decided to leave before the function ended with a few paid goons to show like there was chaos. There has never, we've had very, very peaceful. And the others, if you look at Kitui, for example, where there was small bit, it was Moses Kuria who came and sat on the ground, on the soil. So, talking about, and this is just orchestrated to make BBI look bad. And I think, perhaps perception-wise, there's some success as far as that is concerned. But as somebody who's attended the rally, I want to ensure persons with disabilities that the day before, there is a forum. And the day before is when all the views are taken. The next day is validation. It's like saying to the public, do you agree with this? Yes. And they agree. Okay. And then I want to just, go back to a question my sister asked about, Handshake is now outliving its usefulness. It will not outlive its usefulness. And Handshake and BBI is a product of the Handshake. The Handshake continues to hold the country together because it brings in more people. Consultations continue as we move forward together. So there's no time at which it outlives its usefulness. We continue with more handshakes, with more people supporting one united Kenya. Finally, I think the issue of the debt ceiling and so on and so forth, these are issues that would have come anyway. Because you remember in the last parliament, we talked about over-borrowing. But now we ended up with loans, that were very expensive. So we needed to retire some of those loans. And this is why we've come. So in terms of the economy, I think the economy is not doing as well as Kenyans expect. But that should not be blamed on the Handshake or on BBI. I think we must work on measures to continue to improve the economy. And that's what I've seen the president dealing with the issue of pending bills, dealing with the issue of tax relief and tax rebates, and the BBI also making some strong proposals. So I also just wanted to say, some of that and just make that clear. Okay. Gerard,
I think quickly, I've seen in summary that we agree that all of us agree with BBI, but some of the issues that our good people are raising here is more of policy direction and legislative intervention. That some of these things we don't need to, like share prosperity, we need to fix the economy. The issues of corruption, the laws are there, the institutions are there. I agree with my brother who said we need to ensure the institutions that are already there in place in strengthen. For example, EACC needs a lot of money. They have very few resources. For example, another issue he talked about, which is powerful, is judiciary. I agree with you. We need to increase from 0.6 to 3.5%. But the sad thing, and I'm happy, Gladys Wanga sits in the National Assembly. It is very interesting because they are the same in budget proposals. BPS, they are proposed to slash 1.2 billion that was meant for the judiciary. Interestingly, the BBI is talking about improving devolution. As we talk, you remember the tussle we had with Senate and the National Assembly, and we went to court. As we were pushing for more money to Mashinani of 335 billion, Gladys Wanga and company were saying, no, don't take 310 billion. Take 310 billion to Mashinani. And therefore, when you hear people talking about now when we pass BPI, we'll increase allocation for devolution, yet at least 15% that has been provided by Article 210 has not been actualized. And I know Gladys Wanga will become the governor of Homa Bay. So those are challenges you will face, but we will be in government, we will assist you to fast-track those issues. On Jubilee achievements, I want to agree with my brother who has said Jubilee is doing more poorly than it was doing before the Handshake. You know why? We have adopted the Big Four agenda. Do you hear anything about the Big Four agenda? It is not possible. So we are doing poorly. Number three, of course, now everybody is talking about BBI, the Big Four agenda is no. On the issue of elections integrity, I want to agree. The Handshake was one of the biggest political conmanship that we have ever seen in this country. You know why? We allow somebody to lose an election, illegally swear themselves in Uhuru Park, which is strengthen us. We allow that person to sneak into power. Now he's making decisions. Matiang'i was saying in Kisii, I answered to only 2 people, not even to Kenyans, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. So in my own opinion, we need to fix issues of election justice and integrity. And I agree that the main problem is let us fix election to be with a lot of integrity. Say that when I lose and she wins, I accept graciously, go and look after my cows in Mosoriat and watch Gladys Wanga govern the country. But we have somebody who is a perennial loser, who has mastered the art of deceit on how to sneak back the way they are Nuzumkate. Now we went to political conmanship on the handshake. Yeah. Now you can see where we are headed on the country.
This shenanigans.
Finally, I want to answer.
I must intervene.
Okay.
I must intervene.
No, point of correction.
No, I must intervene. Because
yes.
we are talking about very serious issues here.
Can I finish?
The disease of Tangatanga is being too preoccupied with William Ruto becoming president in 2022 that they do not care whether they will have a country for William Ruto to govern.
For both of you, just answer the questions that have been raised by the
yes.
Because
answer the questions that have been raised by the audience. That is what they want to hear.
We can say here William Ruto, this or the other. Okay. Some people are thieves, some people are stealing, some people arms are being found. We can say all that. But
let's handle the questions that have been asked by the audience. Those are the things that are important.
We must stick to the issue.
Okay. That was the whole essence of the town hall.
We will go to the DAT.
No. Let's not go to the DAT. Answer the questions. No, answer the questions that have been asked by the audience.
Finally, on the process of BBI and disability, I want to apologize on behalf of many Kenyans. I've seen you are given the back seat, especially, of course, you know what the organizers...
Have you been to any BBI rally?
I have been there.
Have you been to any BBI rally?
I was in Kitui.
No.
But because we were given any chance, I want you to prove the contrary. We were not even given any chance of seats. So I can imagine the pain of the disability, the people living with disability. But I want to assure you, if you look at the Bill of Rights, if you look at the Disability Act, your issues has been cut at. And it is about legislative and policy directions to fix the issues of disability. On the issue of shared prosperity, I agree as a country that we need to do a lot. And that is why we proposed when we met for a retreat of caucus of parliament in Naivasha that at least 5% should be given to young people for stipend, so that as they join Kenya Tamaki Network, they are able to survive. They are able to have something until they get a job. And I think that is very important. On the issue of corruption, finally, as I finish, I want to agree with you, my brother. The issue of saying we give you 5% to report corruption, let me tell you, I sit in the committee of JLAC, and last week as I finished, we were listening to extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearance in the country. The witness protection, which is under the AG, has never been functional. So how sure are we when we say we want to give 5% of the process that has been, or for reporting corruption, yet even something like Witness Protection Fund, the one talking about the Environmental Trust Fund my brother has talked about, cannot be actualized. So I believe, I can conclude, Teva, some of these things need only what we call policy, direction, and legislative intervention.
Boniface
Can I just join in there? Can I just join in there on the issue of the interventions? As we go through the BBI report, they've set up 5 teams. One that's looking at the constitutional issues. The other that's looking at the legal and statutory issues, what can be sorted. The other that's looking at policy issues. The other that's looking at administrative issues. And the other that's looking at issues that need behavior change. So they are all the 5 areas. And then they will highlight what requires constitutional amendment. And it is for that that we will decide whether we need a referendum or not. Then the ones that need enactment by parliament will be done. Policy will be given. Administrative will be given. So we shouldn't worry about where things are going.
Boniface Gore says, so Senator Cherargei supports strengthening of some institutions like judiciary while soiling the name of the DCI. Who is he fooling?
Have I soiled the name of DCI? I have not.
In fact, you have run over him here.
You need me to raise.
You even called him.
Allow me to answer. You asked me a question and you.
That was Boniface.
In fact, what we are telling DCI, I know him personally, is my friend, and I've always told him on record or off record that he needs to be just an ordinary detective, investigate his cases properly, and leave this running around with media and prosecuting his cases in media. DCI, the moment he will present a solid case, a prima facie case, and the DPP prosecutes to conclusion, we don't have a problem. In fact, today, I saw some individuals presenting before VBI that we need, the problem with DCI is an extension of executive. I wish you would try and make DCI an independent arm so that you don't have direct some funny characters within executive that just make a phone call to direct DCI what to do. We want the DPP, the DCI to be independent for them, and that is why we are telling Kinoti that to just concentrate on his work and leave politics to politicians.
Okay.
Is it too much to ask?
Wanga Jeff Ogutu says, why are there BBI validation meetings when sensitization is given very little or no time? BBI is using public money. Why haven't you circulated copies of the report, distributed to citizens when the document, if you say the document has the potential of changing Kenya's future?
So I think the one thing, even when we were doing the 2010 constitution, it was circulated in the newspapers. And I think there is this BBI highlights that was put in all newspapers of national circulation. The other thing, for Jeff to be writing to you on the Twitter there or whatever, he has access to the BBI portal, and this is available online. This report, Trevor, is 156 pages. Even if you printed it and gave it in rural areas, many people would just use it on the table. And this is why when you go to the BBI sensitization fora, the day before the rally, people sit and are given the report. They are taken through the report. Anybody who has attended will, they are taken through the report. Then on that basis, they now give their views, and those views are consolidated and read at the rally for public validation. So I think that has moved. And then there's going to be another version of the report after these views. After that, there's going to be condensed into whatever bills that there need to be. And all these are going to be circulated. But if you keep, saying you're going to print 156, even 3, 4, 5, 10 million, and this country is going digital, with a government that, prides itself in being digital, then I think
there's another one here for you. Robert Josochi. Well, after insulting me a couple of times, he says BBI organized and attended by ODM. So can Cherargei is lying? Can he say that he's saying that when people like Anne Waiguru and ODM goons are there? Actually, let me just read the entire thing. So he says Trevor just stands there saying, okay, as Cherargei says, BBI is organized and attended by ODM. So he can't even ask if the likes of Anne Waiguru are ODM goons.
Of course, but it depends on what we want to look for. After you have gone to Mosho Moja, in 2015, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga has started that Governor Anne Waiguru was allegedly corrupt.
Okay.
In 2020, the chief...
Let's not
if you allow Wanga to shout,
let him answer the question directly.
You should allow me. I'm just giving facts.
Josochi did not ask whether she was clean or not.
Yeah.
He just asked that when you say the BBI is being attended by ODM goons, are people like Anne Waiguru part of ODM? That's all he asked. Let's not get into personalities.
They are apologists of ODM. You know why?
So they are not
because
ODM
these are people who have decided to be part. Yet we know their history, and these people have just said them. They have just said as much.
So you call them apologists of ODM?
Of course,
yes.
and you know who person
Let's
who
not
has
get
been
into
organizing.
personality issues.
No,
he just asked a direct question.
No, who have been organizing. You know, these are things in public.
So you're saying that
you should not be intimidated.
No. The question from Josochi. No, he's asking you a direct question.
But
and you said that they are ODM apologists.
I'm just saying.
ODM apologists.
I'm just
That's
saying,
what you said.
if you see the organizers.
Yeah.
If you see the person who normally chairs organizers, even of governors, it is in the public domain. It is known where they normally go and organize. Is it hard to say that? I'm not just calling anybody. I'm just saying when Kenyans even see pictures, governors of Mount Kenya went to the office of a former prime minister and sat and organized. Is it an offense to say that? And yet it is in the public domain.
You call them ODM apologists. Wanga.
Yes. No, they say, the reason I was, Cherargei has been throwing insults the whole evening. He said ODM knows how to shout. Even to me here, he's been insulting me the whole evening. But I don't want to go to his level of insults. I want to stay above. I want to say this. I want to say this. You know, when you're asked, the question there that Cherargei was running away from by starting to now drag Anne Waiguru through the mud is the 10 Mount Kenya governors that were on the front line 2 weeks ago presenting views to the BBI. Were they ODM? The last time I checked was Kiraitu Murungi, ODM. They are the ones who organized everything in that rally. Is Lee Kinyanjui right now leading the organization of the Nakuru rally? Is he ODM?
But he must brief
Wambora, is he ODM? Baba is involved because between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, they had the handshake. and they birthed the BBI baby. And somebody has to move it forward. And they have agreed among themselves that Baba moves it forward. And I hope that even as you come to Nakuru, you come, because you've disrupted the other rallies elsewhere, come and present your views. And, you know, you were telling us here about come and see decency. We haven't seen decency in you walking out of Meru before the rally ended. Come there. You can't have your cake and eat it. Present your views. Baba will be the chief guest, as he has been in every rally. That does not make that rally an ODM rally.
All right. We have to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for this session. We've really gone, Cherargei, we've really gone beyond our time. I don't want to fade you off on the Honorable Gladys Wanga, Women Rep Homa Bay, Honorable Samson Cherargei, Senator Nandi. That's all the discussion time we had. My name is Trevor Mbija. Always a pleasure having you with us on Town Hall Session. I think we'll stay away from these political issues. But anyway, see you next week. All right? Bye for now.